Hello everyone, Rabbi Abe here. We are here today to speak about the month of Cancer. I want to share some insights with you that you can benefit from the month of Cancer, because inside the month of Cancer is the benefit to all of us to help uproot emotional blockages. And that's for all of us. Makes no difference if you're a Cancerian or not. I'll give you an example. Deep emotional blockage has to do with inner desires that we're not aware of. Take the child who, growing up, was woken up by his parents arguing. He's 4 or 5 years old maybe, and he's woken up a few times a week. They're arguing about what? About money. And so eventually these parents get divorced. And what happens? He formulates a consciousness within, a desire within that tells him, you know what? Too much money causes divorce. And as he gets older and he's successful, but only to a very limited degree, and he has a family, he has a wife who he loves very much, children he loves very much, he's not that successful. Why not? Because his true desire is to protect his wife and family against success, because there's been a deep emotional pain, blockage, because his parents got divorced because of money. So he has developed a false belief system and a false desire, meaning he thinks he wants money, but he doesn't really. He thinks he wants great success, but he doesn't really. What he truly wants is protection and security of his relationship. He wants to make sure that's okay above any other desire. So while he might have some level of desire for more success, the overwhelming desire, which he is likely not aware of, and that's the key here. He is not aware of this hidden, concealed desire for protection and security of his family. And the greater desire, that's the rule, the greater desire or the true desire will always win. The problem is we don't always know about it. Now, how can we use the month of Cancer this year to help show us, to help lead the way, to help us? Well, we need to understand the tools which I make available to you free, download. You can use the QR code or the link in the description section of YouTube, where I'll put the link to the downloads, free downloads and tools, and also how you can also get yourself a Kabbalistic astrological report. So there's a QR code for that as well, and I'll put that link as well in the description. So the month of Cancer, we know in general, is all about emotions. It's all about sensitivity. It's all about the understanding of, not the understanding, but what needs to happen, which is a balance. Balance of emotions. That's the key in Cancer. Because if you've ever seen the crab walks sideways. He cannot walk straight. That's the sign of Cancer. He doesn't walk straight. And for that reason, for those who are born in the month of Cancer, don't always express themselves. They express themselves in a concealed way. They go this way, they go that way. They very often don't go to the point. And if they do manage to go to the point, because some Cancerians want to learn that, but actually not in the right way. So it will turn into anger. Or the other way around, if they have a problem or an issue with someone, they won't know how to deal with the problem necessarily, but they will just, go at it. Well, this is what I want and you didn't give it to me and now I'm upset with you. Okay? Or could be the other way around, that I don't know how to deal with the problem and I'll just smile and I'll laugh, but I don't deal with the real emotions behind it. Okay? Because one thing about the constellation of Cancer is extremes. That could be the word to describe the entire energy of the month. Extremes. Extreme. Again, it's extreme left or extreme right. Now, any extremes, according to the Kabbalah, is called din, judgment. Balance in a situation that comes from the two sides, but there's what we call the central column, which creates a balance, let's say, between the left and the right, between mercy and judgment. That's called the central column, and that's what we're always looking for. Because whenever we're extreme in anything, it's a sign of a hidden agenda. Again, yes, let me repeat that. Whenever we find ourselves being extreme, obsessing about anything at all, obsession doesn't mean I have a real desire. Obsession is obsession. It's connected to control, okay? So anytime we are extreme, and even extreme up or extreme down, again, I coach people all day long, and sometimes, I'm very happy, and I said, what's going on? What's going on with you? Because extremely happy is not really happy. And obviously, extreme down or depressed also is not the reality of things. Real reality of emotional situations is some level of an even keel, a balance in things. Because if it's not possible to be that way all the time, there has to be something false in it. You follow what I'm saying? Nobody is up all the time. They medicate people who is like extreme in that sense all the time. There's a word for that. I don't want to label it, but whatever it is, because if there's one extreme, there is sure to be the other side of that extreme as well. Okay, so let's share some of the ideas that the Kabbalah explains. First off, we know, even in conventional astrology, we understand that Cancer is ruled by the moon. The moon is the planet that rules Cancer, and the moon rules only 1 month, as the sun also rules only 1 month. The sun rules Leo only, and the moon rules Cancer only. That means those 2 months in particular, which, by the way, according to the Zohar, are months to be careful. There are 3 months that the Zohar says one must be careful because the Shekhinah, the divine presence, which means the kind of the spiritual ozone layer, if you will, the natural protection is not present in 3 months of the year. What are the 3 months? Cancer, Leo, and Capricorn. Okay, and Capricorn. So that means there's additional work for us to do to install the protective shield against, let's call it, burnout. Too much energy is also not a good thing. Again, everything needs to be in a balanced state. Okay, so that's what we're after. The Cancerian, again, the Cancer, the crab is walking side to side. He can't walk straight. Well, that's an indication, okay? An indication when emotions are not being handled appropriately or not at all, which is probably the worst thing. I don't want to bring the disease into it, but there are many opinions that the disease of Cancer can be about extreme emotions which are not dealt with, which are held within, if you can understand what I'm saying. Extreme emotions. Now, an emotion, what is an emotion? An emotion is energy. It's a force of energy. Now, it needs to be expressed or harnessed in a certain way, because energy just doesn't, it doesn't stay still. It must be expressed one way or the other. And if we don't express it in some form, even if we express it as an anger, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's way better than repressing it and holding it in. The optimal thing that we could do with anger is really understand how to use it and how to deal with it, how to take responsibility when it's necessary, and how to transform anger into a useful tool, if you will. A useful spiritual tool. Now that can be done. But again, the worst thing is to repress it. And those of you who maybe study some Kabbalah and you've heard this word resistance or restriction, It certainly doesn't mean, oh no, I can't get angry, now I have to repress it. No, no, no. You are not doing the spiritual work. In fact, you might be hurting yourself because you don't thoroughly understand this concept. Resistance, or better, rejection or restriction means not repression, no. It means being willing to feel the emotions that we feel and also be willing to take the responsibility to understand it and to deal with it in the best way possible. Repressing it is dangerous. Period. Not good. Please don't do it. Now, the letters that rule this month are the letters Chet and Taf, which we'll put over here. The letters Chet and Taf. So the letter Taf, which in Kabbalah stands for truth, Emet. So the letter Taf stands for truth. The Taf rules the moon, meaning the DNA of that letter is ruling the moon. And the letter Chet is, it's a little bit more difficult of an explanation, but it is a unification. The letter Chet is a unification of two letters. So if you look at this letter Chet, and you know, this will only be useful if you understand the Hebrew letters. The letter Chet is two letters with a bridge. If you look, you'll see a little like this, a little mountain, if you will, or a little, like that, a little like a triangle on the top of it, and it's bringing two other letters together, the letter Vav and the letter Zayin, when this letter is properly written. Now, the sages explain that a scribe must write it in this way for it to be the proper vehicle to transfer energy. So these two letters, the Vav and the Zayin, with this little bridge, together make up the letter Chet. Now, what's the secret of this letter? There's a secret here. Again, according to the Kabbalistic teachings and the books of the writings of the Rabbi Isaac Luria, the Zohar, as well as the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of formation or the book of creation, the letter Vav and Zayin are the letters of the previous month, which is the letter Zayin, okay, which controls Gemini, and the month before that, which was Taurus, which is the letter Vav. And if we take the name of the month in Hebrew, Tammuz, what the Kabbalists tell us is something really unbelievable. Tammuz literally means to unify. Tam, to bring together, Uz, Vav and Zayin, meaning the unification of the previous two energies, the two energies of the two previous months, the Vav and the Zayin, and those two letters equal the letter Chet, and that's the month of Cancer. Meaning what? So, whether you understand that or not, Taurus is the month of light, it's called. The month of light. Gemini also is a month of light. It's the revelation at Mount Sinai. It is the giving of the Bible, the holiday of the Shavuot, and it is numerically that the letters of the month are 207, and that is light. Light is also in Hebrew, or is also 207. So all these things together, to say what? Okay, again, and I don't expect everybody to understand every detail of what I'm saying, and it's okay. But the previous 2 months are both very powerful months. So what happens if we take these 2 months and put them together and unify their spiritual energy together? What do we come out with? We come out with the month of Cancer. What does that mean? It means an extremely powerful month. But, and this is something that we don't always take into consideration, more is not always better. You know, a lot of people get into spiritual teachings and meditating. I want more energy, more energy, more energy. Really? How much energy do you think we're capable of handling? Endless amount of energy? No, we're not built to handle an endless amount of energy. You know how we know that? Very simple. If we were, we'd be able to put our finger in the electrical socket and everything would be fine. We'd be able to handle the energy. In other words, what I mean to say, more doesn't always mean better. It doesn't. Because there's two aspects to how we handle or are able to contain energy. Number one is the energy itself, which we call the Creator's light. And number two is the vessel to be able to handle it. We need the vessel to be able to handle energy. How do we create the vessel to handle energy? In fact, that's all we need to do. We never need to sit there and meditate and draw energy. We never do. You know why? Because, at least according to the Kabbalah, there is always an endless amount available. There is no limitation on the spiritual light of the Creator, which represents any and every level of fulfillment. What's lacking then? One thing. We call it the vessel to encompass that energy. So what does it say in the books? The light of the Creator is immeasurable and endless. But it is only the vessel. It is only our spiritual vessel, which is connected to our soul, which is represented by our effort, our spiritual work, true spiritual work, overcoming our negative desires, whatever the spiritual work is. Those things assist us to create the spiritual vessel to be able to harness that light. And the more work that we are willing, able to do, the more we share. We do actions of sharing, we do actions of charity, we do actions of self-control, we discipline, we use discipline, we use spiritual tools. All these things are for what purpose? To create more, better spiritual vessel, to be able to handle that light. That's the purpose of prayer. Prayer is not asking God for things. We don't need to ask. They're there, always, endlessly. But the vessel to receive them, that's not there. So if you're going to pray, and I pray every day, 3 times a day, we're not praying to God to change for me. We're praying for to create a better spiritual vessel that I'm able to receive more of that light that comes from the Creator. Because, again, it's always endless. But we're not. We want to, build our capacity to receive, always. That's the point. So some of the tools that we can use this month, in the month of Cancer, are, if you meditate, that's great. Use the angel Gabriel. Now, Gabriel relates to the left column. Left column represents judgment. Now, judgment is not a bad thing. I know when in the context that we use this concept of judgment, it could be bad. Oh, I judge somebody. Well, we should judge according to the Kabbalists, but we should always judge in general, in every situation that we're involved with other people, with acquaintances and so on. We should judge to the side of, how would we say it in English? To give the benefit of the doubt. That's the type of judgment we should use. We need to judge to make proper decisions. I need to figure out as best as I can and make a judgment. So there is a place for judgment, of course, and we must judge. But that judgment should not contain the desire for the selfish judgment. That's not good, okay? This is the month to be able to remove that. We have the spiritual opening, emotional opening, because this month is all about emotion. We have emotional opening this month to remove the ego judgment and to replace it with sharing judgment, if that makes any sense. A sharing judgment. Make better decisions. Give people the benefit of the doubt, even if you think, or maybe even especially, that you don't feel they deserve it. That's okay. Do it anyway, because it's going to benefit you. It'll also benefit them. It'll help them, but it will benefit us first, okay? I'm not going to go into the details of that. We have other videos about that. But so judgment is not a bad thing necessarily, depends on how we use it, and this month we can use it to access. Because remember, this month there's no natural ozone layer, the Shekhinah, the divine presence is not here by nature. We need to create it. That's the more environmental, spiritual vessel. And, so we don't encounter any of the potential downsides of the month, because there are downsides. There are some downsides by the nature of the month. But if we're working spiritually this month, if we're using these tools, and I'll give you a couple of more tools, then the month should be amazing and unbelievable. That's what it should be. It should be access. It should be control of our emotional state. It can help us remove blockages that are deep, the hidden desires, like we said in the beginning, that we don't know about, but they're running our life, It's operating our GPS and saying, yeah, okay, like this. And we're a robot to our GPS, which means those desires that we don't know about. Okay, so the first tool that I'm going to recommend is the 72 Names of God, and specifically the Mem, He, Shin. Okay, now you can download the 72 names from our website, of course, at rabbieabe.com. Also, the use of Ana Bekoch, the 42-letter name. Of course, we have downloads for all of these things. Just go to the download section. And whatever you do, meditate to use and ask assistance from the angel Gabriel. Now, the angel Gabriel can help us with that judgment, meaning to judge, ask from, the assistance of this angel. I want to use positive judgment, not selfish judgment. I want to use this month positive judgment to help me make better decisions, to help me go internally and reveal those emotions which needs to come out and be manifest in a positive way, if at all possible. Okay? Those of you who scan Zohar, I know there are many of you who do. This is a month of healing as well. The seed level, the Kabbalists explain, yes, even the seed level of that disease that begins with the C, okay, can initiate in this month or can be healed, the initiation of the healing. So, of course, that's what we're focused on, to remove any trace or any initial, because, it starts somewhere. We don't know when. The Kabbalists say this month only, because this month only has that ability to cause that imbalance on a cellular level, on an energetic level first, on a cellular level second, and this is the same, in the same month as the cure. Always the cure is found where the issue, the problem is found. It's always in the same place. So if the issue or the problem exists in this month, potentially the cure and the healing is also here. And that's what we want to connect to. So the Mem He Shin from the 72 names is for healing. Also the section of the Zohar which is called Pinchas. Again, for those of you who know about that. And if you don't, avail yourself. There's one volume of Zohar. It's all in the original language. It's called the Sacred Zohar. And I highly recommend that if you just want one volume of Zohar just to scan. Not something you're going to be able to read in English because it's not in English. It's one volume, but it contains the entire Zohar. And this is for scanning purposes only. Scanning means like this with your eyes. Just look from right to left. That's the meaning of scanning. Just look at the letters. Look at the letters from right to left, okay? Those letters penetrate to the soul and have an effect. Okay. The mantra for this month, pay attention if you're still with us. The mantra for this month is very, very important. It's this: I trust the light more than I trust my own feelings. I trust the light. I trust the universe. I trust the process more than I trust my feelings. My feelings are based on me. They are rarely 100% accurate because they're connected to our personal desires, usually. So what we call emotions and feelings not always accurate. You can feel one way today and tomorrow you might feel completely differently. So which is right? Not accurate. It's not an accurate thing. Okay? All of these tools can be downloaded, okay, at RabbiAbe.com in the download section. The link will be in the description box. Again, the mantra, I trust the light, I trust the universe, I trust the Creator, I trust God, more than I trust my own feelings and emotions. That's the mantra. So use the letters as well, the letters of the month. That will be in the download for the month of Cancer. Again, make sure you download that one. Download for the month of Cancer, the tools for the month of Cancer. And it should be a great month for all of us. And yeah, it should be a great month for all of us, guys. And be blessed. And let's make it an amazing month, full of light, full of balance, full of the right balance of everything, right? Because when the emotions are balanced, everything else is going to work out. God bless.